G-I-G-G-S. No. Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at?
It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion Messi is better than me, but in my mind I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm backed up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy cars and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up,
Hey guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on football. This is episode number 29. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Ace Podcast Nation, as you know by now, and if you don't, why don't you? Full of all sorts of great shows, featuring top guests, expert analysts, and more. So please do check it out. We're dropping almost 5 shows a week between the main channel and the Patreon and stuff. And if you prefer your podcast in audio form, they are all available via the Sports Social Podcast Network. So make sure you download them there as well. And just as we wait for a few of the late comers to join us, we'll give a little Super 6 Prediction League update. We're raising money for Maggie Centre and Mind. And it's been an interesting period. So I think there's been 2 rounds since the last go. Couple of low scoring rounds. I mean, the most important thing really is that I'm now have a 17-point lead over Rhodri, and Andy Campbell is only 17 points behind me, in front of me. So I'm hot on the tails of Campbell and leaving Giggs for dust. It's a beautiful sight to see. It's a beautiful sight to see after he was celebrating.
What did he get in the week? I haven't seen it on the week.
I think I got 6 and you got 4.
Oh, okay.
I'm obviously like rolling along, but after you celebrated so much in March when you got it down,
It's celebrated. There's a long way to go yet. Keep the shit talking. I've done 18s and 15s in 1 week. No problem. Just need to concentrate. I usually just do it. It takes me 2 minutes, but yeah, I need to go back into it, don't I?
Yeah, the pressure's been getting to you, and it's been like you've been overthinking
it.
But on Saturday,
overthinking it. What, the 2 minutes that I've just told you I do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should just do it for a minute then. All right.
2 minutes of overthinking, mate. Saturday, Andy Legg came out on top with a 17-pointer, and then Tuesday, Martin McHattie smashed it out of the park. He scored 22 points, but only needed 2 goals for a perfect round of 30, so he just missed out. But what a performance. But remember, you only need 1 good week to win the £250,000 jackpot. The next round is Saturday, 3:00. And obviously, most importantly, like me and Roger have a laugh and whatever. But it's about raising money for charity. And then obviously me collecting the winnings when I make a late run for the league. I think I've got about 150 points to make up now in the last few games, and I'll just win the whole thing. Easy days, easy work, mate. But as you can see, and you heard, I am joined as ever by ex-Salford City FC United winger, Mr. Rhodri Giggs. How are you?
You always missed out. I missed 5 weeks to start, don't you? You've gone back to missing that, haven't you?
Right.
But we'll skate over that. Yeah, I'm good, mate. You?
I am very good, mate. But we got to re-establish this point again. You did miss 5 weeks at the start, but I've forgotten to do it more than 5 times, so you've made that up easily.
I'm sure I've forgot to do it a few times as well.
can't have any excuses just because you're getting beaten.
No, no excuses. It makes it even more sweeter when I win at the end.
Yeah,
what have we got left? We've got like 7 or 8 weeks left. Plenty of time.
That's it.
Jumping the gun, aren't you?
If I get 30 points per round for the rest of the remaining games, I'm going to win the whole thing. So
I only need one like 8. I only need like one like 18 or 22. No problem.
I'd be interested to know what your highest round has been in like throughout. I think there was one week where me and you finished first and second one there when I think you had like 18 and I had 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I've had a few of them, haven't I? You just that was your one off, wasn't it?
Oh, mate, come on now. There was a period where me and you were both scoring regular sort of 12 to 14 points for a little bit.
And guys, I haven't been out on a moped. He's lost his out. His sons, his
kids have nicked my ass, so I need a haircut badly. Thanks for drawing attention to it. I appreciate that massively.
Going for the Kaniki look.
I reckon if I keep going, I could just like slick it back, get the old grey just for men in there, get rid of the grey streaks. Could
audition for Greece.
Could get something real special going. Do you know what? I've about 3 times in the last probably month, I've nearly shaved my head completely. just to get like, just do it and just be done. But I've kind of just, some would say bottled it. My wife says you've been sensible at the last minute. I don't know, but I've had a shaved head before. I'm not afraid to do it again. But my middle son has got a ponytail like I used to have at the moment, and it's making me a bit jealous as I see all his hair swooshing about. So I might grow my hair again and donate it again. I don't know. It takes so long. But anyway, let's get on to the important stuff, mate. There's lots to talk about. What I would like to do is not talk about the South Wales derby at all, because that was embarrassing. So we'll start off, mate. The big news yesterday was that looks like Ten Haag is coming into United. Looks like it's pretty much a done deal. Were you surprised that they ultimately didn't go for Pochettino, or do you think because of Ranieri coming in, Ten Hag always seemed like a more likely candidate?
No, I always stated I want Ben Tag. Some half. It's half and half, isn't it? But I think what people want is fresh start, a new face. They've already seen Pochettino, and the way he's gone on with Paris at the minute in the Champions League, it hasn't done them any favours. So yes, he'd be a good fit, but I think just Ben Tag, he's got no scars, he's got no baggage, and I think he's a suitable candidate for us. So yeah, excited if it is true.
In my opinion, the only way it works is there's kind of 2 aspects to it. One, he has to be given time, even if he gets off to an absolute nightmare, similar to like Moyes did, and they've got to just oversee that, mate, and just get on with it. Like they've got to just give him the time, and they've got to support him and all that stuff. But also, I think the other thing is he's got to get rid of some of those players. Some of those players failed every single manager, going right back to Fergie. Some of them. Like he's got to get rid of a big lot of those players, bring in his own players, start again to a certain extent. Do you agree with that? Those 2 points?
I think that's been in stipulations of him joining that he's in charge and he's calling all the shots, because at the minute it's not been going very well. So it needs a football man making the football decisions and him having in charge who he wants to get rid of, no matter how influenced or how expensive they are. If he doesn't want him, then they go and he brings in who he wants, and you give him full control. That's the only way it can work. It's happened before, and it's got to. Yes, he's got to have help upstairs, but ultimately it's got to be his decision.
One big difference to him and to previous regimes since Fergie's left is Ed Woodward's not there. So you've got Ed Woodward not there, who's obviously been criticised massively. But you've got Darren Fletcher in there now. You've got the other guy, I forget his name, the newer guy. And then you've also got Ralph Ranieri's going to be some sort of consultant. Do you think that's at least the right sort of steps in the right direction in terms of getting football people at the sort of executive or board level, because I think that was a problem, wasn't it? You had bankers in there making stupid decisions.
Well, yes, but when you've got Darren Fletcher in there, well, what's he doing?
Yeah,
He's sat on the
bench.
one minute he's sat on the bench. Next minute he's seen pictures of him training with the first team. What's he doing?
And now he's arguing. He was arguing with. I saw he was arguing with some fans or something, giving him the old expletives. But I mean, he's had a busy week. No, his role is not very clear, and like he's doing the interviews for the managers, I believe, as well, isn't he? With alongside someone else. It's look. It's easier for me to ask you which players would you keep rather than which ones would you get rid of, because there's so many out of contract and rumoured to be leaving. Out of the squad, which is there now, if you take out contracts, so if you exclude, say, Lingard or people like that, but like, who out of that squad now do you want to see there next year?
Well, there's going to be a big change, isn't there? There has to be. Players at the end of the contracts, there's over 10 players of age 30 or older. You know, Cavani's going to go, Pogba's going to go, Mata's going to go, Lingard's going to go. I'd get rid of Wan-Bissaka. I'd get rid of who else would I get rid of?
Maguire. Maybe,
yeah, maybe.
What about Luke Shaw? See, I'm keeping Luke Shaw, but then...
Yeah, he's been there 8 years, mate. No, I'm getting rid of him.
Interesting. I've seen some of the players that Ten Hag has immediately been linked with. There was one from Leipzig, two from Ajax, and Ruben Neves from Wolves. So all four of those players straight away.
Who? Say again.
So it was two. I think it was one from Leipzig, a midfielder, and then a defender and a winger from Ajax.
Ooh, we don't need a winger,
Neves.
Do we?
I don't know if it was a winger or like a number 10, maybe. Like...
Well, I've been seeing Calvin Phillips. His name's been touted about. I'd take him. He's an athlete. He's English. He's only going to get better, especially in a better side. The amount of ground that he covers.
Do you know my thing with Calvin Phillips, right, is he'll cost, say 50 million just because he's English, whereas I guarantee that Ten Hag could probably select a holding midfielder from Germany or the Dutch league or from Europe somewhere who he like a young holding midfielder, and they probably get him for like 20 million. I just don't know why you would spend more on Calvin.
Well, hopefully, if he's got someone like that in mind, then you don't need him. But hopefully, he has got people in mind, because he's not at Ajax and that anymore, where he'd be not spending at the big table. Now he's at Manchester United, where really he's after the top players. And yes, money's no object to a certain amount, but you don't want to be spending daft counts of money. So if they can get a player of the calibre of Calvin Phillips, but if they've not been in the Premier League, mate, it's still a gamble, because we've seen it before. Yeah. Premier League's a different animal. So
if United are going to break the bank for one English footballer, like one English player, and you could pick who that player was, who would you select?
Harry Kane.
You take Harry Kane over Declan Rice? Or...
Yes, because I don't know actually. So
you got Declan Rice, you got Harry Kane. Who else is there?
Well, the centre forward's a big issue. But the only thing with Kane you've got is, I think he's got 4 or 5 years left. Where Declan Rice, you've got a good 10 years out of him.
Yeah.
So, but either one of them two, if they want to cheat and sit on the fence, either one of them two I'll be happy with.
Yeah, I think they're the two standouts, really. To be honest, like Reece makes a good point there. He says, I'd take Son over Harry Kane any day of the week. And I think you'd probably get Son cheaper in terms of value, but I don't think Tottenham would sell.
I understand what he's saying, but Manchester United don't need another Son.
Yeah,
don't need that type of player. We need a goal scorer, centre forward. We don't need a striker slash
winger.
We've got them coming out of the ear holes. You need a proper striker. We've been going down that road. Oh, if he comes available, let's get him. Oh, yeah, but where's he going to fit into our structure? This is what Ben Saar's got to come in. He's got to come in, have a structure, and if a player's not available, then we're going to have to wait.
I saw this German guy,
and it's not going to be a gradual thing. Klopp, it took him 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
and it was piece by piece. Pep Guardiola less so, but he's got a bigger budget to go for, so he can put 50, 60 million pound players on the bench and no one bat an eyelid.
Yeah,
Liverpool don't have that luxury.
I saw a Dutch guy or a German guy on Twitter yesterday saying he wouldn't be surprised if Ten Hag focused on getting young, fit, athletic players, didn't bother with a young striker necessarily, and brought in someone like Lewandowski for like a short, like 2 years maximum, but focused on the rest of the team. And then once he got the rest of the team purring, he would then, and Lewandowski, is going to be retiring, he would then go and buy whoever it may be. The fact is, United are not going to be able to sign a Haaland or anyone like young from European football at the moment, because if they're not in the same place they were, years ago. So I think Harry Kane's slightly different, because I think the next contract Harry Kane signs is probably his last. So United can offer him big money, and I reckon he's probably attainable for him.
Lewandowski would be a good fit for 2-3 years.
Yeah,
it'd be, because he's elite.
Yeah,
and I don't care what anyone says. It's a Premier League. He's a goal scorer. He's done it in the Champions League. You do it in the Champions League, and you do it in your league. 40 odd goals, something ridiculous every year. So yeah, you get chances. Get a chance at Man United, you'll put them away. So goal scorers are goal scorers wherever they go, especially elite ones like that.
Yeah, and just lastly on United, I was going to move on then, but I'm just going to put this comment to you. Like Reece says, Harry Kane, you're looking at like 70 to 100 million, and he spent a lot of time on the injury table. Is it worth that risk, or should you go and try and find a younger striker?
No, if you're going away from the older players, you would, going back to your previous question, you'd go with Declan Rice, but then that's going to cost you 100 plus.
I guess it depends on who they can bring in from Ajax and Leipzig and these places where Ranieri and
I think they've missed a chance. I think they've missed a chance with Jesse Lingard last year. They should have come some kind of deal where Declan Rice comes. Oh, yeah, they could have come with some kind of deal, but obviously they haven't got them kind of wheeler dealers in the club and come up with them type of deals. Pretty sure, in Ferguson, you'd see it all the time. Where's he pulled that out from? So, like Van Persie, Berbatov, Carrick. Where's he pulled that one from? But Larson, just goes on and on.
That Larson signing was genius, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And when he come in, mate, I was like, Larson. But when you watched him, mate, he was unbelievable. He surprised me a lot when I first seen him live.
Well, he was 35 when he signed for United.
Yeah, he was. His movement, though, he was brilliant. He was brilliant when he come in. A real proper experienced centre forward.
Yeah, he's a quality player. So it's been an interesting week in the Champions League. We talk about strikers. Karim Benzema, mate, still doing it. Every time they seem to drop him at some point each season, almost like he needs a bit of a kick up the arse. But what you can't deny is that when he plays and he's on form, he is one hell of a striker. Scored a hat-trick against Chelsea. Someone sent me a message earlier and asked me to put this to you. Has Chelsea's off the field stuff with Abramovich and the sanctions and the club up for sale, has that kind of taken the wheels off their season a little bit? Or is it just Madrid are good? Madrid are good at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're playing Real Madrid. Where they're pretty. They've had one bad result in the week. But no, why would it for the players? Nah, I'm asking
Yeah,
you. I'm asking you why. Why would it affect the players? I have no reason why it should affect the players. The wages are the same, the training the same, they're playing the same thing. Well, it's at home game, so they don't have to worry about the travel or the less of hotel, the luxury that they have there. But so what's different? There's nothing different. They're playing Real Madrid in a quarter final of the Champions League, and it can happen. Chelsea were off it on the day, and Real Madrid punished them with an elite striker.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, I mean, in answer to your question, the only players it could potentially affect is the ones who are out of contract, or the ones, not even the ones who are out of contract necessarily, because they're probably going to leave if they haven't signed a contract yet, but the ones who are maybe got a year left and were looking to renew their contract in the summer, and now they can't. But you got to. It's not as if they're going to be.
You're not going onto a football field once that game's going. 40,000 fans thinking about that. You're just not.
Yeah. Liverpool looking pretty comfortable in the Champions League again.
That's where I dropped a clanger yesterday. I mean, on Tuesday, because I went with them for a draw that on the Super Six.
No, mate.
Yeah, I know.
I got to be honest. I think it's going to be Liverpool versus one other in the Champions League final. They look like they are. They look, like these United teams of old in this part of the season where they just looked like they were just chugging along. It was like they were.
Liverpool wouldn't have got a goal against Atletico Madrid. That wouldn't have happened. 5 against 5 like that. City have the strength off the bench in Kierra's midfielders. Yes, they have the centre forwards, but when you've got 5 against 5, it's hard enough when you train against 4 against 4, but 5 against 5, it's so difficult, and City managed to get a goal, and now they've got to come out and try and get a goal. So, and that'll be in City will be rubbing their hands. So, City is still, you don't count out City. They're still a very, very, very good side, and still, in front and got the advantage being at home on Sunday.
Why do you think over the last probably 5 years English teams have done so well in the Champions League? Like England have pretty much dominated the Champions League, haven't they? Over the last couple of years?
No, it's more than that, mate. More than that. In 2008, 2009, Chelsea.
Yeah, I know, but like the last 5 years or so, I haven't.
Money.
Yeah.
Look at the money they're spending, mate. Chelsea, £90 million on Chelsea. Liverpool, they've done it gradually, and City. A City that even though they can't get there and win the big one, they still keep on, getting close and getting close. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time before they do it, unless they just can't get over the line. But I'm pretty sure. Well, it's just a matter of time.
Pep's been linked with. He's been offered $10 million a year to leave Man City at the end of the season and go take over Brazil. Do you think that's realistic? Like, I could see him being an international manager. I think it would suit him as he gets a bit older.
Well, I was literally seeing that about an hour ago, and my thoughts were, is he had enough of day to day? Is he at that point yet? He's still in his 50s, I suppose. So you don't know. So he's had a little sabbatical before. So he might be thinking, this might be the right time because Brazil.
Go and manage Brazil for 3 years, $10 million a year. It's not exactly the worst place in the world to go, is it?
No, not at all. So it is enticing. It's very, very enticing. So it depends if he's ready and his family, if he's ready to say, this day to day, I'm done with it. I'll go on now and do like every now and again with the internationals. It's fine by me. It's all as if he's at that point mentally. If he's not, then they'll carry on with City because, maybe if he wins the Champions League this year, he'll think, you know what, I've done it. Boom. If he doesn't, then he might want to stay on and think he's got a job to do to win the Champions League. As soon as he wins the Champions League, then he might just say, you know what, I'm off. So, but it depends, mate. Like I say, it depends.
Shout out to Lewis van Gaal as well, who's obviously now been announced he's fighting prostate cancer, I think it was. Like shout out to him. He was one of the most entertaining personalities that I've seen in the Premier League. His football was not great to watch, but as a personality, I thought he was top draw. I will never forget when they were playing Arsenal and the Arsenal players kept diving and falling down, and he done that thing in front of Wenger where he dives and falls on the floor to the fourth official. It's one of the most funniest things I've seen in at a football match for a long time. He's a real character, and I mean, obviously he's the Dutch manager. That's going to galvanise them ahead of the World Cup. Him, battling illness, they're going to want to do well for him. But best wishes to him and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to very quickly, mate. I want to talk about Wrexham. Obviously, they've got the Ryan Reynolds and McGinney effect where they've been taken over, and like you can see, like if you go and watch their sort of like their websites and they're in the lower part of the football league, and their technology and stuff, the quality of their cameras and everything, it's like top. It's like Premier League standard in terms of the equipment they're using and their streams and stuff like that. Because obviously, when Ryan Reynolds is not over here watching, he wants to watch it over in America. He's very thing about the watching every game. But they've got to the FA Trophy final. They won a game the other day, 6-5. They were 3-0. I think it was 3-0 up or 2-0 up. Then they were 5-2 down, and then they won 6-5. Incredible stuff. But even in the league, they're doing pretty good. Like I think there's just something special going on at that football club at the moment. Like they've been, since Ryan Reynolds has come in, you can feel like I've talked to a couple of the fans and that there's just like an atmosphere around the football club. There's something special happening. They're in the automatic position by 3 points. They're 8 points behind Stockport in second, but they should go up. Like how important is it for them? They're in the National League. If they can get back into the Football League eventually, like that's vital for them, isn't it?
Yeah, massive, and they're a big club, Wrexham. I played at that ground. I've watched many games, Wales games. I've watched many Wales games at that ground, and I've played in it as well. So it is a big, massive ground, and they get good crowds there, and it's a good community now. Seems to be a good community club, and they're definitely invested in it. So that can only be good for Wrexham and the Wrexham people, because it seems to a real feel-good factor at the minute. So they just need to capitalise and keep going, and hopefully they get promoted and hopefully win the FA Trophy, because it's a Welsh club and they hope they do well.
Yeah, it'd be massive if they can win that trophy. Yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but like those pictures of Ryan Reynolds and with the trophy and things like that just builds the profile of the football club.
100%. There's other people over, on the other side of the pond as well, chatting, and
he's embracing Welsh culture as well, mate. Like his Netflix films are being subtitled into Welsh and all this stuff. So he's not just. I was going to say he's not in it for the money. Not that he needs money, but of all the football clubs to buy, I dare say Wrexham, is not going to be a club that you'd necessarily buy to make money. So there was something about it which he loved, and he's come in.
Oh, it's not one to make money, but it's something you probably get. It's a nice part of the world and something you can get your teeth into. So, yeah, who knows why he chose it? Maybe he went there. He's got a soft place there. I've never really heard him tell the story about why they actually bought Wrexham. Do you know?
I don't. I'll have a quick look now and see if I can find anything. But like Reece just said, the playoff system in the National League is different to the Football League. So the top two get promoted, but automatically, and then the playoff system is different. So 4th place 7th, 5th place 6th. The winners of those games will then play 2nd and 3rd place. Sorry, so only the champions go up automatically. And then, so the winners of the normal playoff play the 2nd and 3rd place team. And then the winners of they play in the playoff final. So that's all a bit convoluted, isn't it?
Well, it's a bit like the NFL playoffs, isn't it? By the sounds of it. the top teams have a bye for the first week, and then the other teams play it out, and then the winners play, obviously the ones who had a bye. So yeah, it's pretty insane.
That could be massive. So to the National League, do they play their playoff finals at Wembley?
Yes.
So again, if Wrexham can finish second and then get to the playoff final, it's another massive day for them. And again, it's going to be worldwide coverage and all the rest of the country.
And if they get to Wembley, I'm pretty sure you get like about 25, 30,000 Wrexham fans going.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you get big crowds. You used to get big crowds there back in the day.
Yeah, I always remember that Mickey Thomas free kick versus Arsenal in the FA Cup.
Yeah,
that Mickey. Was a special moment.
Good bloke, Mickey.
Yeah, I was put in touch with him a while ago to come and do like a podcast, do my story, which obviously his story is incredible, and it kind of fizzled out a bit. So I'm still trying to work on getting him on.
I know Mickey pretty well, so I'll have a word with him.
Yeah, mate. Well, he knows. I would assume he knows. I've been trying to contact him because someone else was trying to contact him. So if you can help it along, mate, that'd be great. Because I think
I'll try and get him on here. Then you can ask him on here.
Yeah, that'd be great, mate.
Do that.
Because I think I think he's really good. He's really entertaining, and he seems like he's
a really good bloke, really good bloke, really nice bloke. And he's obviously had his tough times with cancer, but come through it, and he's a really good bloke, Mickey.
Got a hell of a story, mate, as well.
Yeah.
Right. Very quickly, mate. Let's talk about the South Wales Derby. I sort of said my piece yesterday on a show, but look, Swansea were decent. They were the better team. They wanted it more than Cardiff by far. They deserved their victory. I didn't think they were amazing. I just thought they wanted it more. My problem is even ever since the Dave Jones days, Cardiff seem to have a problem where the football club, the players, they can't get up for these derby games. I don't know what it is, but so many times under Dave Jones, we used to turn up and we'd just be like dour and just poor and just really unmotivated. And I was excited about this because I thought we had a good core of Welsh academy players who were genuine Cardiff fans. So they'd all be bang up for it. You had experience there. And we were on good form. Swansea weren't in the best form. And I was right about it being open and full of goals, just not in the way I was hoping. Cardiff were disgraced, by the way.
Disgraced, why?
They were absolutely piss poor, mate. Their attitude, the application, everything about them was just absolutely shocking. There was no get go, no tackles going in, no pressing.
How many local lads were playing?
I'd have to double check what was the starting lineup, but it would have been a couple.
Because some people don't obviously know the history, and it's not going to be hot blooded if there's not many hometown players playing.
So Rob yesterday, who I did a show with, mentioned that the Swansea manager, and apparently it's a bit of a tradition over the last couple of years, is the Swansea managers will show the squad like a video of past South Wales derbies moments to show them the importance of it. So if you've got foreign players or players who are not from the area who don't understand it, they're bang up. They treat it like a cup final, and Cardiff just don't. They got a problem with it. And look, as good as a job Steve Morrison has done, also, I think there's still problems within the football club because
it's not going to be fixed straight away, mate.
No, of course not.
But they've got loan players and they've got young players playing. The problem with the fans is they want too much. This is a championship, which is a very, very difficult league. They were petering on relegation. He's come in as a young manager and he's kept them safe. So they've had a bad result. It's not a good result being beat home and away by your local rivals. But yes, there's not going to be everything's not going to be great in hunk and dandy. But he's been there 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, and I think it takes time. I think the reason you were asking about local players was because I think not necessarily to say, they should have more local players who understand it, but more like, because they're young footballers, and if you're local, it can sometimes, you can build it up to too much, and then the pressure gets to you and you can't perform as well as you have against X, Y, and Z in the previous weeks. It's not necessarily that you need to have a team of local players, but you do you need a team of players who understand what it means.
Yes, now there's a Swansea manager who's left no stone unturned and done the proper research and played in the games to show them what it means to the fans and to the people of Swansea and Cardiff. And obviously the Cardiff manager has failed to do things like that, and hence no one banging, sliding, no tackles, no hot-blooded football and high intensity. By the sounds of it, they were poor. So yeah,
it's
1 minute, mate.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say, just while because of that, I think we looked so disjointed, and I agree. Someone just said it's about style of play over desire. But my point, when I say about tackles flying in, it's not necessarily all through the game, but when we're getting stuffed 4-0 at home to our biggest rivals, that's when. Yeah, sorry. You don't let them take the piss. That's when you have some tackles flying in. You don't let them come to your home ground and walk all over you and just let it happen. And then you've got first team squad players like Max Waters liked an Instagram post after the game of Russell Martin's Swansea players celebrating, and he's liking that. You've got Bakuna's posting pictures of himself on holiday. It's just a general piss poor attitude, which has been a big part of the problem at Cardiff City over the last couple of years. And I think Steve Morrison's good start in the last, whatever it's been, has kind of papered over those cracks. The same issues that we've had with attitude and
but
desire.
This is the problem I've got. This is the problem. What I'm saying to you, you've given 3 or 4 months. He has got to assess the situation. He can't get rid of them players now. They're under contract. So when the season finishes, I'd be very, very surprised if the players you're talking about are still at Cardiff. So you have to give a manager time. It's not as like, well, you need to get rid of him. Well, you can't. You have to do it properly. So he'll assess the situation, and then he'll get the players out who you think are bad eggs, and get the good ones who he thinks that'll compete and do well for Cardiff City. It's not as easy as like, he's liking this, he's liking that. He might have addressed it or might have seen it and thought, okay, he's not going to be with us next year. Yeah, it's just little things. But you can't just say, no, he's liked to tweet, get him out.
Yeah, no, I know that. I think it just, for the fans, that just adds to it, doesn't it? Like, after it's humiliated, it's like you see these dickheads doing that, and it's just like,
it's obviously a player that doesn't want to be there, but it's a process, and it's a difficult one as a manager because you've got to please 20 players, and some of them are bad eggs when they don't get in and not professional and get behind the team. Instead, they like stupid photos or go away on holiday, or you're going to get.
Sorry, mate, to interrupt you. Then I was going to say there's been many footballers over the years who have not been from Cardiff or Swansea, or not been from Manchester, or not been from Glasgow, or all these big derbies. Who they're not from the area, but they understand the rivalry, the importance of it. Someone in the chat, GDP in the chat, just said Jay Bothroyd. He's from London, but he understood the gravity of the rivalry, and he would he embraced it, and he's had some interesting words recently on social media. But like Mark Hudson, all these they're not Welsh, but they understand that there's certain clubs for certain football teams where the fans need to see that extra bit of desire, that extra attitude and application of quality. Like, if you can't give the quality, at least give the attitude. That's always been my point. Like, if you give 100%, the fans will excuse you being not up to, not being good enough. But what they won't excuse is not being good enough and having a bad attitude. And unfortunately, I wouldn't say that all those players had a bad attitude, but I would say all those players didn't have enough desire, didn't play to their best of their ability. So you had both sides of the coin not good enough. And Swansea wanted it more, ultimately. It was frustrating.
Yeah, it's not good. 3-0 at home, derby. Not very good.
But Cardiff got to pick themselves up because Swansea hadn't been in good form. They went and got a great result against who was it? I've forgotten who it was now. On Tuesday, they won Millwall at Millwall. They beat 1-0, which is a great result. There's 2 big away wins for them. Cardiff have got to pick themselves up now because they've been on a good run, and what they don't want to do is just let their season kind of fizzle out with average performances. They really do need to react well.
You'll see the next game how they react and what the mentality is.
The Championship is, as always, the greatest league in the world. Derby are off the bottom, mate.
Are they?
By a point. Level on points, level on games with
Peterborough. Reading had a win in the week, though, didn't they?
They did. So you got Peterborough bottom on 27, 40 games played. Then you got Derby on 28, 40 games played. Barnsley on 29, 39 games played. And then you got Reading on 37 and Hull on 41. So
see, Reading, that was their game in hand as well, isn't it? So what's that? It's 9. That's 3 games they've got to win.
It's 9 points between Derby and
it's going to be tough, that, isn't it? It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
They've got an extra point with the goals in goal difference, but 3 games in what? So they've got to win 3 more than Reading in 6 games.
Yeah, there's 6 games left. I was just seeing if Derby got to play Reading. No, they haven't. Look, I got to say, I think those 3 which are bottom now, I think they are probably going to go down. I really thought Derby were going to do it about 6 weeks ago, but
yeah, they just had a dip, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a dip at the wrong time, and when they had that dip, teams like Reading and the teams just above the relegation zone, like Hull and Birmingham, Bristol, Cardiff, they all started to pick up some points. Derby were dropping points, and it just made it between just 4 teams. And then Reading have picked up some good results recently. Barnsley have picked up a couple of draws. It's one of those. But you look, so on the Cardiff thing, mate, right? And Reece has made a great point. Like, Cardiff have got no money. They've cut a lot of costs. Steve Morrison signed brilliantly in January with the loans he brought in, really revitalised the season. You don't necessarily have to spend a fortune in the Championship to do well. Luton are a small club. They are they barely spend anything on agent fees, as GD Parry's just said there. They've got a small ground that looks like it's stuck in the 90s, but they're 4th in the league. They look like they're going to be in the playoffs. It's very close up there, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But like, they haven't got a massive squad, but what they have got is a team who are playing for each other, who will go through a brick wall for the manager. They contribute goals from all over. Like, if you look at their goal scorer list, they got 16 players who've scored a goal this year. Everybody's contributing, but most importantly, everybody at that football club is pulling in the same direction. And at clubs like Cardiff, there's a few others as well. It just feels like there's too many people within the football club pulling in different directions. Not everybody is trying to do the same thing. And that comes from the board, by the way, as well, in some cases.
Yeah, and it gets the manager in to give him time, and like he has done yesterday, he went from Luton to Stoke, and he had a bad time, but then he's come back to Luton, knew the surroundings, give a little bit of time. And the back were, playing very, very well again. Everyone's got to be bought into something like that, because when everyone's working so hard and everyone's got to be going in the same direction, and by the sounds of it, Cardiff not all going in the same direction at the minute. So,
at the moment, but I think if they stick with Morrison, I think this time.
Yeah, and I think for 2 teams that are just above the relegation of the Championship, we've spent far too long talking about them.
Yeah. Then the Championship playoffs.
That was a joke, Larry.
No, man. But you even though I said I didn't want to talk about it, mate, you knew once I started going on about it, I was going to go off for one.
No. But it gives, mate. At the minute when you come in, you were talking relegation like 2 months ago. Now,
I thought we were in January. Remember what I said? I said, we haven't
a
got
novice
any money,
manager, he's
we're
come
going
in, he's
down.
done very well, but there's clearly problems there because why are they in the situation they're in the first place?
Absolutely.
Yes, probably poor decisions up top, bringing managers in that are prehistoric, but he would have brought some other players in that's probably causing problems because he's bringing the same players in and getting the same results. That's why he keeps getting sacked, probably. So, give him time, mate. Just time. Next year,
bad eggs.
He's had a good 5 months with the team now. He'll know what he needs. He'll know what he needs to get rid of. Yes, he's got a shoestring budget, so you just have to wait and see. And obviously, you can get that type of that culture that Luton have got at their club at the minute, because where everyone's going in the same direction.
Yep, 100%. That and as Leslie rightly points out, the top 8 is even tighter than the bottom 4. So you've got in 8th position, you've got Blackburn on 62, Middlesbrough 7th, 62, and then you've got Sheffield United and Forest on 64, and Luton on 65, Huddersfield on 66. It is insanity down there because any of those 6 clubs can be in that final 4 position.
Well, Forest, in my eyes, are there because they're 5th and they've got 2 games in hand.
They should be there.
So I reckon that they're there because the way they're playing, they'll win even one of the games in hand. That'll put them into 3rd, and then
Middlesbrough, mate, as well. They got a game in hand, which would
Middlesbrough,
take them to playoff places.
Shame Blackburn, QPR have dropped off a little bit. Let's give Middlesbrough and Forest a little opening. So it's usually the ones you need to look out for, and the ones at the end come steaming in. They're the ones that usually, when they're on the roll.
Yeah. So I do like to every couple of weeks sort of look at the playoff places, and as of today, if you had to pick which 4 you think are going to make it, just to see if it changed through the weeks, I would go with Middlesbrough, Forest, Luton, Huddersfield. At the moment, would be my 4, which I think will make it.
Yeah, I see. I think Huddersfield will drop out.
Really? That's because they're the highest.
Yeah, no, but I think they'll drop out because Middlesbrough got a game in hand. So if they win the game in hand, they go behind a bit. Sheffield United are close.
Saturday, this Monday, Huddersfield play Luton.
There you go. Then if they win that one, then they're pretty much in, aren't they?
So Huddersfield's next 3 games are Luton at home, QPR at home, and then Middlesbrough away. So I mean, those 3 games are going to decide their season. Basically.
Yeah, this is what I mean. That's a tough. They're all tough, but they're definitely tough because they're in and around them. So they caught as in the game 6 pointers. So yeah, it's a big game.
But then after those 3 games, they play Barnsley, Coventry, and Bristol, who are all down the bottom, either got nothing.
Mate, like we said, you just said it's one of the greatest leagues in the world for that reason because it's so difficult.
Any of those teams could beat them.
So you say they'll win at Bristol or they'll win at Barnes and they'll get beat.
Yeah,
so you just can't. Yeah, it's so hard to predict. The only probably ones you can predict are probably Fulham and Bournemouth at the minute because they're so strong and they're above the rest by a far mile. So,
is there a team out of those 6 that you would prefer to get promoted through the playoffs? You'd like to see them back in the Premier League.
Who would I like to see out of them? Out of the 6,
yeah.
Well, I've always liked Fulham because they've always played.
Yeah, Fulham and Bournemouth are definitely going to go up, aren't they? So I meant out of the 6 going to the playoffs.
All right, be more specific. Blackburn, definitely not. Middlesbrough, don't mind Middlesbrough. Luton, obviously Luton. Forest, it'd be nice to see Forest back there. To be honest, Luton, because I've never seen him in the Premier League before. It's a good story. The manager seems, he's had a tough side. He went to Stoke, got his big move, but didn't work out. and he's gone back and he's obviously, found his feet again and quite comfortable there. So, Luton.
We talked about how good a job,
and I've obviously got the connection with Luton. I've told you the story.
Yeah, but then we also, mate, we talked about how good a job Rooney's done at Derby, and maybe he'd stayed up, it would have been manager of the year stuff. Like, Nathan Jones deserves the same credit at Luton, I think. Like, to take Luton into the playoffs, last year they were fighting relegation. The year before, they've only come up to the Championship in the last few years. They're a small football club. They don't get the same amount of fans that some of the bigger clubs get each week. And they've been up there all season churning out victories. And he deserves a lot of credit for the job he's done. And I think I said this to you before. I think it took a lot of bottle for him to go back to Luton with his tail tucked between his legs almost after he got the big move, left them, and it didn't work for him. Some people, I think, wouldn't have wanted to go back. They don't like to go back. They prefer to keep moving forward. But he was like, no, this is my place. This is where, I like it here. I'm comfortable here. And he's done a tremendous job.
Yeah, I can't disagree. Can't disagree at all. And, the ground, like you say, the ground reminded me of Swinton's rugby ground. And Swinton's rugby ground got knocked down in 1991.
It's a proper football ground, mate. Football ground, isn't it?
So it's a proper old one, yeah.
I would love to see them in the Premier League again. But I've also got a lot of Forest fans who are mates. So for them, I almost want Forest back in the Premier League as well. So, yeah, it's one of them. Rangers are 1-0 down at half-time to Braga.
How West Ham getting on?
I will tell you now. So let's have a look. West Ham 0-0 half-time. Leipzig are drawing with Atlanta. Leipzig. So, just to finish off the last 8 minutes, if anyone's got any questions, send them in, and we shall answer them. Manchester City have been investigated for the past 3 years. What's this? The Spiegel alleges 3-year Premier League investigation. An investigation into potential rule breaking at Manchester City is focused on illegal payments for underage footballers, inflated sponsorship deals, and hidden salary payments made to former manager. So this makes me chuckle a little bit because and you'll be able to give an insight into this, I'm sure now, but these big Premier League clubs have been paying young football, like kids, parents, and buying them houses and all this different stuff for 20, 30 years. They've always done it. Even though they're not supposed to, they've always done it, haven't they? Bought the parents a house in the area, paid them cars and shit. Like, that's gone on forever and ever and ever. So the fact that they suddenly trying to make out. No comment.
Take the fifth on that one.
No? You got nothing to say on that one, have you?
Yeah, like you said, it's going on for years. Not for years, we just, like you say, we just probably get a bigger house.
Yeah, it's mad that they, of all the things that they could investigate.
If you look at the Academy at City, how these people, it goes on.
And you see a lot of kids moving to different academies for seemingly no reasons, and there's always a reason in there, and it's usually money. What else we got? There was something else I was going to ask you about, and I can't find it.
It's probably not sometimes. It's probably not the best thing for these players, though. The parents look after themselves. It's probably not the best thing for the players because they sit in an academy with players that you need to stand out. And if you don't stand out, then you're surplus to requirements. So, and then that leaves its own problems where you go after that.
Yeah, it's not always the best thing to go to the biggest club, is it?
Nope. But Manchester City is one of the best academies, bar none. Better than Manchester United's, bar none.
Do you think United's is as good as it used to be?
No, it's nowhere near.
So what's changed with that? Is it coaching? Is it they don't put as much effort into it? Like, what's changed from back when they were producing, a couple of players every year would be coming through?
More opposition, I suppose. Back then, people wanted to go to Manchester United, where now, even the Manchester United players, most of their children, they go to cities, they don't go United. So that should tell you everything, really. Darren Fletcher's son goes to Manchester City Academy. So there you go. The technical director of Manchester United sends his son to Manchester City, not United. That should tell you everything you need to know.
That's mad. That is because they got Rooney and Ronaldo's kids are in United.
Yeah. Well, they're United fans. There's Darren Fletcher, United fan.
Oh, is he?
I don't know. You think he would be? You think he'd send him? But why didn't he? Because City's academy is better. So you want your son to go to the best academy. Doesn't matter what your thoughts are. He's obviously sent his son to the best academy. So that should tell you everything. The club he's at, the club he loves, the club he grew up playing for. Yeah,
technical director.
The academy that he come through that was elite is no longer elite, or no longer at top of the list. People go to City or even Liverpool, Melwood, maybe not.
There's a few clubs who've got.
There's a few Manchester lads that go to Liverpool, though. I do know that, but that's because City and United have missed out on them, and then when they become good at Liverpool, they realise how did we miss out on these?
Yeah. Leslie makes a good point. Middlesbrough got a great academy. They've always had a good academy in Middlesbrough over the years.
Middlesbrough have always had a good academy. Southampton have always had a good academy. Chelsea's come on leaps and bounds because they threw money at it over the years. That is a better academy than United's. So teams have took over, but we all know why that is, and that is one reason. Probably, well, not probably. It is the Glazer family.
Yeah.
They've let this happen.
100%. Right. Couple of questions before we finish, because we're going to finish pretty much now, because we've got places to be. Gaz says, how much would Rod pay for Neves to sign for United? Saw him linked with 100 million, but that seems like a lot.
Yeah. You're looking at 60s, aren't you? 60, 65, 70.
Is he good enough?
Anything over that. In a Manchester United side, yeah. You got to think that he'd be with better players, and he's a very good player on the ball, very good goal scoring midfielder, can pass, get about the pitch. So yeah.
Is he out? Is he an out and out holding midfielder, or is he more?
Well, these midfielders. But you look at him; these midfielders can play either. So because he scores goals as well, he's got a good strike on him.
Okay, fair enough. Reese says Man City probably do
100 million though. No.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is if you're going to spend 100 million on him.
No, but that's the problem. That's the problem United are going to have now, though. Yeah. They've got big bucks, and people don't want to get rid. And it's not as if Wolves are skint. They've got a big owner. We don't want to get rid of him. And we've seen it with Mbappe. I don't see Mbappe going to PSG. He'll get thrown money at him, and he'll be staying there.
You think he'll stay at PSG? Mbappe?
Yeah, but these clubs with money now, unless like West Ham as well. 150 million Declan Rice, so we're not selling him. What? 150 million. So and if they get 150 million, right, we'll sell him because he's well overpriced.
Yeah, it's insane money. Reese says Man City probably doing a lot of the same stuff that Barca were doing for years with their academy, with futsal and ball control and things like that. Very technical stuff.
Mate, the academy at City is a joke. It's a joke. It's right next to the ground. I mean, right next to the ground. They've got a bridge. They've built a bridge that cost about £1 million that goes from the ground over the main road, which is 2 lanes on each road, goes over the road into the training complex. And the training complex is, there's multiple pitches, outdoor pitches. It's immaculate. And then they've got this massive indoor. It's just massive. It's got multiple pitches on it. It's unbelievable.
Awesome. Will says attending the best academy doesn't always equate to having the best playing career. Best to get an academy where you'll get more chance of getting through to the first team.
Well, no, yes, but as a player, you'd back yourself, but you have to.
weigh it up, I suppose, don't you?
Yeah, you have to weigh it up because there's a lot of players that you have to be, unless you stand out and do really well. Yeah, you're not going to get like Phil Foden. He's elite, and he couldn't get a game for 2 years, in and out, in and out. There's not many these days. Name me a 17-year-old or 17 or 18-year-old that starts in the Premier League.
It's probably a couple, isn't it?
It just doesn't happen. It's rocking or shit. The only people that I can think of it is Ryan was playing every week at 17, 18. Rooney was playing every week at 17, 18. Raheem Sterling was playing every week at 17. That's it. That's over 30 years. So it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I wonder if the United thing with the academy changed over the years. Like, you had Aaron Ramsey chose to go to Arsenal instead of going to United when it looked like he was nailed on to go to United because of their record with like younger footballers at that time. And then you had most recently Jude Bellingham, for all the money in the world, looked like he was going to United, and then he's gone to Dortmund. It's like there's clearly been some sort of change there, though, hasn't there?
No, that's the United people not closing the deal. You've got to have someone who can close deals.
Is that a Woodward problem?
I can very rarely. There's a famous one with Gascoigne, but that's because they basically said. But what do you mean?
Ronaldinho was going to sign money, and then he changed his mind. I remember reading that in one of Fergie's books. He had all
there's
scattered examples.
Well, no, these are like, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but it doesn't happen. Yeah, it doesn't rarely happens.
It's an interesting one. Last question, and then we're going to finish. Definitely. Leslie was asking about. I can't pronounce his name. DJ Ed Spence, who's a youngster from London who is on loan from Middlesbrough, but plays for Forest at right back, has been linked to United, Munich, Arsenal, Spurs. I haven't seen a lot of him. I've heard from very few people that he's phenomenal. Do you think he's do you think he'll be another one who goes like abroad to like a Dortmund or a?
You've got to be careful, haven't you? Because we bought someone for 40 million quid. We just put him on loan to Rangers. He can't get in the Rangers side. So these young players, yes, they play well at a certain level, but when this is the Mijatovic or whatever his name, plays Fulham, scores like 30 goals in the Championship. Scores 5 in the Premier League. Solanke, 25 in the Championship, 2 in the Premiership. It's different. It's a different. So it's for a team like Manchester United. Yes, if you're buying him in, and you've got a 2010 squad of United. You're at the top. You're winning leagues. Yes, we can bring him in. We can nurture him in. You can't afford that at the minute to be bringing players like this in, unless he's going to come in and make a difference straight away. And that's a gamble because he's in the Championship. He may well go on to be a great player, and we may get him for the future. But at the minute, we need players that are going to come in and fix and certain formation, certain way of playing. And maybe he fits the criteria of the new manager, but it's not going to be easy for a Championship player, young player as well, to come in straight away.
So is he going to be better than Wan-Bissaka? Like, at this point, probably not, really, is it? Like, at the age he's at. I mean, he might be, but I haven't seen enough of him to say. But
and is he English as well?
Yeah, he's born in London.
Because at the minute, these right backs, flipping heck, there's they've got them coming out of the rears. They've got not Declan Rice. They've got Trent Arnold, Walker, Reece James, Wan-Bissaka, Lamptey, and this kid. But I like Lamptey as well. I like he's full of energy. But I've not really seen too much of this kid, so I can't really comment. But right back, I didn't know he was a right back. Right back, yeah, he could come in.
He could play on the left as well. But,
right back's different, mate, because I think it's a different position where I didn't know he was a right back. Like I said, I don't know nothing about the kid.
Yeah, I'll have a look into him and see what's what. Right, guys, it's been a pleasure. Slightly shorter show this week because me and Rod have got to be somewhere. Obviously, coming soon, we're going to have an additional half an hour on Patreon as well. Won't be tonight because me and him have both got to go somewhere. I appreciate you as always, guys. I'm back on Sunday for the fight show, but I'm also back on Monday for the return of Andy Campbell. He's joining me live Monday night, so make sure you tune in for that. It'd be good to have a chat to the ginger man and catch up. So make sure you tune in, guys. It's been a pleasure. Take care. Nice one, Rod. Later.
All right, pal. See you in a bit. Ooh.